Hello and welcome back. And today we're going to continue our discussion about the teaching of writing in this world of AI, or just writing it in general with AI itself. This is part 2 in this series, the second step in this process. Because once students have made contact with their own mind, once they've kind of moved across that page or had their fingers on those keys without any artificial suggestions, that's when we open the door to the AI. But not really as some type of oracle or a muse. And it's not certainly as the author itself. We're bringing AI in only now, and only really as a research assistant, a tool that can maybe generate options, surface possibilities, define some boundaries that there are, but never to dictate us anything at the core. At this stage, students are encouraged to ask questions, not to just be fed answers, but to discover the shape of their own ideas, their own discourse. They might ask ChatGPT to define a term they use in their free writing or present some counter arguments that they didn't consider. They could ask Gemini to list some examples from history of their ideas, or even type into Claude, play devil's advocate to the position that, I thought I held in my writing. The goal isn't to fill a blank page. It's to deepen the terrain already mapped out in that free write. But here's the key. Nothing AI provides should be taken at face value. It's so important for us to tell our students and for us too. If a student isn't surprised, confused, or even challenged by the response, they're likely just skating across the surface of it. We want to encourage them to ask deeper questions, more precise questions, those questions that model the struggles and help them answer more cleanly. Because that friction, that uncertainty, is where the actual thought begins. This isn't just about improving the output, as we've said. It's about, really cultivating that intellectual tension through that struggle. And that tension is where, we find, really epistemological clarity. Not from the answers themselves, but from the awareness of what we are asking and why we're asking it. Students should also completely document the interaction with the AI. Screenshots, transcripts, prompt threads, and even quick summaries. We always get them to record their threads. This isn't simply to surveil their process, but to make it visible, to transform invisible prompting into a transparent, reviewable part of that writing process, the whole journey. What was the question? What did the AI say? How did I respond to it? Did they accept, reject, revise, reframe? Really ask all kinds of questions to get around that topic. Then comes the reflection. What did I learn? What surprised me? What felt a little off? These are the questions we want students to wrestle with, because they're the questions that build thinkers, not just writers, but critical thinkers. This isn't just prompting practice. It's, epistemology 101. It's the student stepping back and asking, not just what did the AI say, but what does that say about what I know, what I value, and really what I believe. At its best, AI doesn't really flatten out inquiry, it multiplies it. But only if the student remains in the driver's seat. It's so important. They're steering through all of that complexity, not just coasting around, doing everything the model suggests. We don't ban the AI. No, we just make sure that it's arriving second, not really first. Always following thought and not replacing it. Because once students realize that asking good questions is more powerful than getting fast answers, they've already begun to reclaim their agency in this new world of AI. Now, we'll have the part 3 and the third step in that process soon. And as always, if you want a more detailed example of this, I have that up on the stack. And feel free to contact me, teachers or students. I'll be glad to help in any way I can. I'll see you next time.